Sawadee, welcome back to me, welcome back to Thailand. True Blue Thai here from Thailand. It's one put here in Thailand, which is Wednesday, and it's game day. Manchester City against Real Madrid, or Real Madrid against Man City. So it's, so we've had the press conferences now. The squad's gone out. It's there at the press conferences in Madrid. Both Pep Guardiola and Bernado Silva, and also Alonzo's had his press conference as well, and there was news from that as well from him about Mbappe. Kylian Mbappe. Anyway, so we'll come back to that in a second. So I hope you're doing well. So yeah, it's 8 o'clock kickoff for the United Kingdom, and I believe that's 3 a.m. in the morning for me. So it's Thursday morning for me. What's going when I'll be watching the game? Okay. Thank you very much. And we've got a puppy. I've got to look after a puppy as well. You know, like, and so for instance, and Okay, so we've taken a 25-man squad out to Madrid. Let me just have a quick look at that. The only person I was actually looking at the squad training, the squad training in Manchester before they left. What's it called? And I didn't see. I was looking for Rodri, but I didn't see him. But it appears that we've got goalkeepers Donnarumma, Trafford, Ortega, Moreno, and Marcus Bernatelli. The goalkeepers went out. 4 goalkeepers. Defenders Matteo Nunes, Luis Diaz, Katongo, whatever, also went out. Jade Katongo, I don't know who he is. Abdelbakir Kozanov, Guardiola, Aki, Ryan Ignori, and Nicholas O'Reilly. Midfielders Nico Gonzalez, Bernardo Silva, Thompson, Miles, also another, Tiana Reinders, Phil Foden, Divine Masaka. Forwards Savinio, Oscar Bob, Ryan Chucky, Haaland, Mamouche, and Jeremy Doku. That's the 25 which were in train yesterday, and I believe they went out as well on the plane. So, for instance, so Pep has had his press conference with Bernardo Silva, and a lot of talk about, for instance, the under pressure Alonzo, and a lot of people think if you lose today, that's going to be the end of the last game. It was asked about, I think one impertinent question was, a guy was asked Alonzo in a press conference, of the names who are what does he think of the names who are lined up to succeed you? So he had names of managers who's going to take your job. What do you think of them? What an arrogant question. Gee whiz. Also came from that was to go with the fact as that the open training session didn't have Mbappe, because it was the Mbappe Haaland game, isn't it? The El Clasico, so the between City and Madrid, and because we play him so many times now. So, for instance, so it appears that Mbappe did not train because he's got a muscular injury in his left thigh up here. So, for instance, he didn't train. So, so also adds a little bit more spice. Because now there's quite a few of injuries they have. We've only got the 3: John Stones, Rodri and Kovacic, and we need to get one of those 2 back as soon as possible. It's got to be Rodri, but again, he wasn't on the bench. He's not even travelled with the squad. So, so that was a bit disappointing. So we've got it's a massive game. It's a massive game. I'm more and more confident. Normally, I would expect looking at like what's happening at the moment. For instance, with the amount of games where the table stands at the stand. Let's just go through the table. So the Champions League table. So let's just go through that. Because Liverpool won yesterday, so which was good for them, not great for us. But let's have a look. So let's have a look at the table. So as it stands again, for instance, we got the Group 1. This next time everybody's played. So nice, that's the Premier League table. Let me just have a look. Tables. Okay. Right, so Arsenal still at top, etc. with 15 points. Bayern Munich, but they haven't played. Bayern Munich played yesterday, so they're on second, 15. Atlanta 13, Paris 12, Inter Milan 12, Atletico 12, Liverpool 12, and then you got Spurs 11, and Dortmund, Chelsea, City, Sporting, and Barcelona on 10. Okay, so we've got 2 games left after this Madrid game, so we can get 9 if we win all 3, etc. That'd be wonderful. That would put us on 19 points. That would be more than enough, I expect. So, but the thing says, so more than likely we'll beat Galatasaray and we'll beat Bodo Glimt, regardless of what people are saying, even though they've got pressure on. That'll put us on 16 points. As it stands, that would be more than enough. But with saying that though, so Liverpool, again, for instance, Madrid are on 12 points, but for instance, but they've got 3 games, so got 3 games left, etc. Paris have got 3 games, and Arsenal got 3 games. So and again, we don't know how these kind of games. Could you see in that top 8, Atlanta may drop out, Inter Milan may drop out, possibly Atletico. I don't know. For instance, I just feel that we're in that screw up against. For instance, what we did, for instance, so what City did, etc. The last game, etc. Against Bayer Leverkusen, etc. was just terrible. It really was. It was just a massive screw up, and it just means that we need to get somewhere together. That'll put us on 17 points if we win the next somewhere tonight. So anything other than a defeat, etc., would be a good thing, really, because again, otherwise we're going to be leaving ourselves open to tops the second group. We'll definitely get into the second group, etc. But which just means that we're going to get an extra 2 games to play. I do feel that we'll get through these games, regardless of whoever we play. Because I'm looking at the, for instance, you've got Juventus, you've got Spurs, you've got Chelsea. Chelsea lost again yesterday, so for instance, that's 4 games in a row they've lost. LB was having a field day. So they're not playing well at all. Chelsea, Barcelona are in there with 14 points. So since the last thing we want, Marseille there with 16 points. 16th with 9 points. So again, the last thing we need is a difficult round, and also an extra 2 games to play. For instance, we need to put a showing on, and I think we will. Put a showing on tonight. I really do. So let's go to the press conference again. Let's what Pep's had to say. Pep's playing against Real Madrid will be the fantastic barometer for his players. The Blues have been a regular visit to the Spanish capital over the years, experiencing high-level highs and painful lows. Yeah, I was reading the stats out yesterday. For instance, very even at the moment. With so many obvious new squad and fixtures like the City boss believe the Bernaeu is a perfect place to shine, as many former players have done in the past. We are in group stages, and it's and if you play in the last 10 or quarter-finals or so, last season we arrived with problems, but on the other games we have been tight and good games. We have important players that we have first time here in Bernabeu. The biggest players that they make for legacy for the decade to come into Brian, we don't have. Walker, Gundogan, Stones not here, but many are new and they want to experience that. So of course, the new guards now coming in. They don't know what they have done. Would say they can do it. It's a good place to prove themselves. Your team, the Blue Rise in Spain and Madrid, currently in second in the Liga. Sunday evening's defeat against Celta Vigo, which I believe nearly kicked off. They lost. I think there were 3 sending off, 2 for Madrid, and for instance, there could have been half a load of sending off. It really didn't. It was very, very toxic towards that game, towards the end of the game, which has led to a lot of people saying that Alonzo is a dead man walking, really. It has the speculation in the Spanish press over the future of Los Blancos boss Alonso. Speculation of Guardiola dismissed. Of course he will. I think one of my favourite ones, he said he's got to pee on his own. He's got to learn how to pee on his own. I thought you had the lot of the media journalists, trying to prompt Pep into saying something, etc. But Pep's not going to, fall for it at all. And his own personal views, he's never going to come out and say what he really feels. There was a thing in my head regarding the the players, because you've got the Madrid players at the moment, and then you've got what's happening with Mo Salah. And I think Mo Salah has been disgusting. I think I've never really liked this guy Mo Salah. For instance, I think it always comes across as a bit selfish, a bit me. Oh yeah, he's a goal scorer, and yeah, so he's a good player. But fortunately, I think he's kicked off against Klopp beforehand. Now he's kicked off again now for a weakened Liverpool manager, for instance. And I feel, for instance, he's I just don't like him. And that picture of him yesterday training alone. I'm on my own with the Liverpool "You'll Have a Walk Alone" sign behind him in the training room. I thought he was just pathetic. Sometimes when I look at players, etc., it's all right. Paper and reality, stats, reality. One thing I love about Manchester City and the players that we've got, because it did come into my mind, has Pep ever lost the dressing room? Right, especially at Manchester City, because he's been here for 10 years. 10 years of saying the same thing. 10 years of whatever. But has he ever lost the dressing room? He's probably lost a few players. But one thing, what was important to me, and one thing I heard a long time ago, and we're going back easy 10 years, was a book what was written about Pep Guardiola, and he was talking about his worst ever signing. At Barcelona. And it appears that, for instance, and it was Tiki and for instance, so it was called. So they didn't. The worst ever signing at Barcelona was the Swedish guy, for instance, his name just tall Swedish guy, for instance, which everybody knows. Went on to play for United, etc. What was his name? Oh Christ, arrogant son of a bitch. And so it'll come to me in a bit. But the thing is, and he said he was his because his attitude stunk. And I think one thing I love about Manchester City was the fact that when we do sign a new player, we don't just go and buy that new player because he's a great player and blah blah blah. We look about his temperament, his arrogance, and for instance like that. And it's all right getting Mbappe and Salah and these players, etc. But the temperament, Ronaldo or whatever, but the temperament is like, for instance, they can be a bad thing in the dressing room, and when to go in the dressing room, if you're not pulling together as a team, regardless, you've got good players, right, and great players, but those players also need to play for the team. And they can't. Erling Haaland's got a fantastic temperament. He is even though he knows he's a great goal scorer, even though everybody wants to, him, but he doesn't let it go over his head. He's still a grounded player, and he also understands about the team. And when you listen to a lot of Manchester City players, when they always talk the team, the squad, the team, the quad, wherever. And I think that is mega important. Listen to what's his name. Bernado Silva today, for instance, about him talking about the squad, the team, the players, and I think, for instance, once you get somebody, for instance, who's coming out and destabling the squad if they're going for a bad time, for instance, that guy needs to go, for instance, regardless. So to me, Mo Salah needs to go. I think what happened with the left back, etc. We played against, he played well. Like he's in Saudi. Can't remember the guy's name at the moment. He'll come to me a little bit, but for instance, I'm talking about fantastic left foot, his best cross over to Raheem Sterling, what's to go with his head, you know the guy I'm talking about, and him, but he had a bad attitude because he was always moaning because he wasn't getting played and kicked off. So Pep just got rid of get out. And I think, for instance, once you get players like that, and the problem is with Madrid, I think you've got a lot of players like that. You've got too much ego, and it's the ego that takes over it comes to toxic in the dressing room. And once the lunatics start taking over the asylum, etc., that's when you've lost. The players shouldn't be going to the what was his name, the Madrid chairman, etc., going talking to him and saying, oh well, we don't like this manager, we need to get him out. And I'm sorry, and again, it's so you've got that with Madrid at the moment, and then we got what was happening with Mo Salah as well. You got player power. I think Pep was asked about player power as well, and but thank God, etc. We don't have that issue, for instance. But players need to know their place, and there's nothing, and the club comes first. Nobody bigger than the club, and thank God, Man City have always had good players, not think of themselves, and they put the club first. So Ask TV is only simply for the player, simply for the player he played for about Mutin. He added, of course, I simply for him because we were together for 2 years, and it was an incredible experience being with him. Not just a manager, we shared families as well. Barcelona and Madrid are the toughest clubs to manage because of the environment. Exactly. You've got the media. LB was talking yesterday, for instance, and I think he was talking to Dabs, and he was talking about it, and he was saying he was happy they don't have a massive, I talk about the mainstream bias media all the time. Can't stand the buggers, I really don't. But one thing he still said, he's good, the fact that you don't have these former players coming on and then slagging off the current players. So he was talking about Carragher slagging off Mo Salah, I'm going to go with Carragher, and he said, thank God Man City don't have that. We have Onoa, for instance, who's absolutely fan, top City fan, Joe Hart, top City fan, Mickey Richards, Mr. Shelf, I'm on the shelf with him, especially his love to Arsenal. He couldn't even decide when the Man City Arsenal game, Mickey Richards was asked about, for instance, who he bought, and he went, I'll get back to you. So there you go. So, but again, I looking at so that is what, maybe that's it's a good thing that Man City don't have a lot of legends, because they're always going to be asked about the club, etc. So, and if you speak, it's not going well. When you got Rio Ferdinand, sign him up. Ollie's at the wheel, and then it's gone south. Then it's get him out. Some of these media, they are so. God, they were great footballers, but they are lousy media commentators. They really are. One thing I talk about, if you go back to Chelsea, the Chelsea situation, and I think, for instance, I look at the mainstream media, and I look at their involvement and with a lot of things, etc. The way they talk about, in bigging up Chelsea. Oh, Chelsea, and then of course everybody thinks they're better than what they are, and they're not. So not just the manager, family of everywhere you have to win. If you don't, it's the problem. In England, we have it happens in locker rooms. Always remain there. To my experience in Spain and Barcelona. So it is a difficult one. It's controlling those locker rooms and about the players and about the keeping them players grounded. And Bernado Silva saying it's a new look City. We're getting better all the time. Day by day, we're prepared for Wednesday's clash. It's the 5th season in succession. I think he put his eyes up and went, Real Madrid again. It's, at one time, etc., it would be like, whoa, the clash to watch, and now it's City Real Madrid. Pep Guardiola's side have been tasked with tackling 15 times European champions. Last term, it was the Spaniard who prevailed with a 6-3 aggregate. That's when we weren't playing well. Now, we feel that the times have changed a little bit again, but this is football. Regardless of how we feel, you can't walk into that thinking that we're going to automatically win, because it's not always the case. City, but he says signs are looking good for both tomorrow and the rest of the season. It's highly encouraging. The team's been growing a lot since the start of the season. We're improving day by day, says the Portuguese midfielder. It's true, our teams have always been much better in the second part of the season than this, and hopefully it will happen again this season. I don't think we're having a bad season. I think in some games we didn't perform as well as we should. We're definitely hoping to arrive at the last stage of the season with a much better than it was in August than we were doing right now. We're playing much better than the first months before the international break. In the first months we beat Wolves and then lost to Brighton and Spurs. Performance were not acceptable. When you go into the international break with one win, with 1 and 2 losses, it means you're not at Man City's level. Now we're just 2 points away from Arsenal in the Premier League. We're in good position in the UEFA Champions League, and the team's performing well. if you look at the last 2 months, I would say that points wise, it's been really good with the number of new players joining the club over the last 10 months. It means that it's a very different squad that the manager selects from tomorrow compared to the last trip here in February. Okay, Bernado has also been consistent during his revolution, saying the challengers are tackling the Spanish giants in Madrid. Is one every City player is to a saviour. The club made a decision to change a lot of players and give a new dynamic, but Bernado added it's a different team full of potential and full of energy. That's what we like to hear. We're looking forward to this tough game. We know how difficult it is to come to Bernabeu. The feeling is a good in all season, even though the results wouldn't go going away. We're very excited and looking forward to tomorrow. It's a very good test. So yeah, so that was good. I think he's a great manager. I think it was a great idea by Pep, allowing him to be manager from some Ruben Diaz, also being a captain. And I think he's doing well. But overall, I'm getting more and more confident by the game, by the day, by the hour. Especially with the Mbappe news as well, which could also the other injuries they've got. So, and also the unrest of the squad can only be good benefits Man City. But again, this is football. This is 90 minutes of football. There's going to be in the Los Blancos, and I'm sure they're not going to allow Man City to have our own way. But I do feel that we can get some out of the game. A point wouldn't be a bad thing. 3 points, amazing. And 0 points, well, we had our chances, and as long as we do put up our chances. French referee, see how he performs. Anyways, but other than that, like and subscribe. Tell me what you're thinking. What's on your mind? What do you think? Are you going a bit more optimism in this game, or are you? Do you not? Are you still? Oh no, we're going to Madrid. So, but it's the same old City, And but I'm more confident, and listening to the commentators prior to this, etc. They're getting a bit more edging towards Man City now. They really are. So, for instance, you can feel it. I love it. Anyway, guys, gonna love you and leave you. Two blue tie from Thailand. I'll speak to you tomorrow. What's it called after I've had about 3 or 4 hours sleep? So, bear with me. So, but take care.